Well, hello again. This is Frankenstein. There's a reason it's called Frankenstein. Today, I backed her in here. Hasn't run a couple months. Fired her up. Gonna bring her in here because we need to fix a windshield. And before I give you a proper introduction to Frank, I'm gonna do a little bit of the video on pulling all this old garbage out. Look at that frosting. Yeah, leaked in through there. It just started delambing, and well, it doesn't hold out water very well, but more importantly, we want to get up inside of here, get all that rusty garbage and that old cracked up seam sealer out of there and make her watertight. So I'll have to give you a formal introduction to Frank in a little bit here. So to make all this windshield business happen, I told you in the other video, I pulled a windshield out of the junkyard out of a 1976 D100 truck. And I don't know, 2 months ago, I picked all of this stuff up online. So we got a cord for the windshield, 72 to 73 or 93 Dodge truck windshield seal, no chrome or whatever, and all of the stuff, vent wing, door seal, probably another door seal, window strips, window seals, window edge seal, all kinds of stuff going on here. Lots of plastic and rubber in a box, just waiting for me to stop being lazy and put it all in Frank. So that's what I'm start working on this weekend, and guaranteed I'm gonna run out of time. So might as well get started. So Frank sits up in the air a little bit, and I have to get on a ladder here. And I also don't have my partner in crime here to help me get this windshield out, also known as my son. But you can see where I've just started, and all I did was get a Phillips head where it's already was missing in this corner up here, the whole cord. So got a Phillips head started, and this stuff started to peel right out. And now I get the Phillips head under that corner. I'll come down off the ladder and see if I can't get this one started, because all this cord's got to come out. And I'm not even going to try and save this seal. I'm just going to cut around it. I'm going to try to save the windshield, and I don't really know why, because I mean, it's garbage, but it's not broken, just has some scratches in it from the windshield wipers over the years. And you can see I've already removed the windshield wipers like 3 years ago when I started messing with this seriously. And that'll be part of the story for Frank when I tell you. Come on out of there. Come on. There you go. Now let's go on the other side. A little ladder over there. Frank's a lot dirty right now because Frank's been sitting under the trees outside collecting acorns and pine needles. But that's okay. Frank don't mind. Put that piece there. All right. That's the easy part. I don't think I'm gonna do the hard part yet, but I gotta find a razor blade that's sharp, and I'll cut it all through this seam and work it out. But you know, there's nothing I can do. Acorn. Nothing I can do till Killian gets home from school, and he gets on one side on the ladder and I get on the other, and we work it out of here. And you know, I don't know why I'm going to be gentle with it, but check this out. That's pretty good. Look at that. Yummy. All right. Well, other things. So here's a look inside of Frank on the driver's side. Decent seat, perfect right there. Really needs one of those Western style plaid burlap kind of seat covers on it. Give it that, you know, really good look. But yeah, I think what I'm going to do now while I'm waiting on Kenny to get home is start pulling all this stuff off, which was just horribly glued in there by somebody with something that's not glue, really. I don't even know what it's like, silicone. Yep, that's silicone. Didn't work. Had not enough water, but I pull all this out. Whoa, that's just falling out because silicone's no good. This seal is not, it's pretty bad down here, right where the foot goes across it for anybody getting in the back. And yeah, so that's done. But now I've got to get all of this garbage off of here. And you might be noticing a couple things. Red. Yep, and silver. So this was a silver truck. And the farmer that bought it, I guess he liked red better. And he painted it red. I did not like the red over the two-tone silver paint. So I went with a different color altogether. But we'll talk about that later. So I've got my favorite bodywork tools. My chisel, love it. My scraper, and a fairly worn out bar brush. So I'm going to go after or try and get as much of this stuff off of here as I can. And once that's all off of there, I'm going to clean it really good. May even get crazy, put some seam sealer up here. Don't know, that seems kind of, well, that's rusty right there. So yeah, probably dig that out, pop some fresh seam sealer in there, get the rest of this jam cleared, cleaned, sand it down some, and go ahead and throw some primer and a little bit of green paint on there to make it look kind of all like it was meant to be that way. And I will be back with you when that task is finished. If you've never had the fun of scraping silicone sealant off of a door flange on a vehicle, I hope you never do. It's terrible. And let me just remind you, if you ever feel the need to use a tube of silicone from your bathroom on weather stripping for your vehicle, please don't. Save the next guy the hassle. And it doesn't stick to the rubber worth a darn, so it's just gonna come right off anyway. This stuff fell right off, but I can tell you what's not falling off is the silicone to the paint. And once I get this all off of here, the big chunks, I gotta go through and grind everything down really clean, go over it a ton of times with acetone, because that silicone, if it's still in there at all, it's just gonna lift the paint and the next adhesive I put on there. So I'm gonna be at this for a while, and it's not fun, but you know, it's gotta get done, so let's do it. Well, good morning. It's now Saturday, and had to stop yesterday afternoon and go take care of some things. Me and Killian went out, and now I'm waiting on him to come down here in a little bit so we can get this windshield out of here together. Be a little easier to manage because, well, as you can see, this is my shoulder and that's the hood, so a little bit up in the air. So I'm gonna get his help on this one with some ladders. But right now I'm gonna go ahead and cut out the old gasket, because that is obviously going in the garbage. So let's get after it. So here's a quick update on the door jamb while I'm waiting on my son to finish sleeping in. And I went through and ended up using a wire brush disc with a drill and went through the whole thing, because that really pulled off the stuff that I couldn't scrape off or sand off, and went all the way around it, then sanded it decently. I don't know, 120 grit, something like that. A lot of that red paint was just flaking right off. They never primed it at all. And what I did was got that all knocked off there as best I could. Threw a tarp in there because I really care about this interior knot, and then slapped some primer on it this time. Let's see if the paint sticks better when I go. But definitely got a good seam now that's not got any, you can see the primer bit into it. Nowhere that silicone was, it like bubble or lift. So that's all good. We'll get that painted a little later in green and to match the truck, and then throw those seals in. Okay, well, I'm impatient, so I went ahead and laid the windshield down on the tarp on the hood. Get that out of the way in a little bit. But one of the things that jumped out at me, if you're familiar with these old trucks, that the plastic dash, and when I parked it in July, there was no hole there. That is definitely mouse chewed. Same here in the corner. Now these are both junk. This plastic is so brittle and just sun baked. I don't know, maybe it just in the cooking in the sun, it actually just fell apart, but it definitely looks mouse chewed to me. I don't know. But here's the other thing I just saw. I was like, hey, while the windshield's out, could just, you know, I don't know, throw a little paint on that right there. I don't know if it really matters. That's patina, also called rust. I don't know, maybe I will. But I guess I can go ahead and pull this gasket on out of here and see what we got going on. That way I can get started on the on the upper edge. And I definitely heard the rust falling. There you go, there's a good look in there. Not terrible, but definitely, we definitely have the rust up in there. And that seam sealer seems to have held on pretty good. But I'm gonna get all this cleaned up super good. Probably POR 15, so that I don't ever have to worry about it again. A little worse on this side. Obviously the bottom and the sides, that's gonna all be just fine, I'm guessing. Yeah, typically leaks in down here on what I've seen from other trucks of this vintage or whatever. It's usually right through here, and you can see the signs of rust there where water pulled up, dripped in, goes down, gets under the carpet, lays on the floor, rusts it out. So, all right, well, I guess I'll just keep pulling away at this and start cleaning. So over here, it's rotted all the way through the lip sheet metal. The only thing left is the roof sheet metal. So we're gonna fix that with POR 15. Got a lot of dust. Wow, that is a mess. Gotta get that seam sealer out of there. Maybe pry some of it out, but it really doesn't want to let go, even from the rusted metal. It's in there good. There you go, deep. Maybe a different tool will work better. I've got a pick. A real small pick. Let's see if that'll get behind it some and pull it out. Yep, that's the ticket. Oh yeah, letting go easy now. Ugh, that's terrible. I guess I should probably cover this with a, I don't know, a sheet, something, so it's not everywhere, but not uncommon. It is a mess. It's easier to just shake a sheet out than try and vacuum all this mess up. I'll probably do both. Oh yeah, that's gone. peg on it. Well, that's okay. As long as my can of POR 15 isn't rock solid, because it's been opened previously, then it should be good to just fix it with POR 15 after it's super crazy clean. And then seam seal it, baby. Seam sealer is your friend. Oh, this is bad. That side's good. Oh, a little bit of metal coming out with it there. Rusted metal. Awesome. Well, good thing getting after it now, because this could have gotten mud. It's only going to get worse. Kind of think about popping this trim off so I can really... I tell you, it's probably the trim that does it. Who knows? Holds that crap in there. See what we get now? Probably a lot of dust. She's feisty. Feisty, I say. Ugh, that's not good. That's a butyl or something right there in the center. Can you see that? Yeah, it's all in my wire brush. Awesome. There we go. Coming out. Coming out. It's a big, big chunk. I don't know that they really cared in the 70s when they put these things together. Maybe some of the people did. But probably not all of them. But hey, it's lasted this long. Might as well keep it going, right? There you go. There's a close-up. All the way through there. Kind of gnarly. Well, kind of stops right about there. Other side's good, but it goes all through here. Ends here at the corner. Yeah, whatever. We'll make it happen. Alright, well, I've got as much of it out as I can. I cleaned it really good. Acetone is the trick. There was a little bit of factory butyl along the top rail here. Cleaned that up real good. You know, got it as best I can. Got the rust off on this side up over here. And again, acetone, acetone, acetone. I want it really, really clean so I can throw some POR 15 on that joker and make sure that stuff really, really sticks up in there. Then once the POR 15's on it, I can go through, do the seam sealer when the POR 15's probably tacky, because I got to get all the little corners right there, you know, that corner, and then over on the passenger side was even worse. So I chipped all the old seam sealer out of there. You can see that it's not as bad over here, but definitely bad on the other side. So all that's going to get jammed full of POR 15, and now it's super clean. And it's time to get after that, see if my can of POR 15 is rock solid, because it got used a little while ago. We'll see how that goes. Alright, well, I'm going to throw some POR 15 on here now, and if you've never used this stuff, it's good stuff. It really is. It does work well. But if you haven't, man, I tell you what, you're going to want some of these, and you're going to want to put down some kind of protection, because whatever it gets on, it's going to probably stay on, and if you don't see it and it dries, it's there permanently. So I like to cover it up a little bit. It'll probably even soak through this cheap linen sheet that's doubled up. But all I did is did a little masking up here, just because I know I'm going to be spray painting once the POR 15 starts to tack up. That's another important thing about POR 15. I've used it a lot in the past, and I usually do it the right way, which is get their, what do they call it, metal ready. And it's like a zinc spray, and you zinc all this down. And it gives the tooth for this stuff to bite into. But I don't have any. And this stuff is getting expensive. And you know, I've cleaned it with acetone. I'm gonna call that good enough for this, and just jam as much of this stuff up in there as I can possibly get up in there with a sacrificial brush, a little chip brush. Buy a box of 100 of these for like $6 on the inner tubes. So I'm gonna get after it and just get over as far as I can. Again, mask this off, because as soon as this stuff starts to tack up a little bit, I'm gonna hit it with some spray paint, some primer, because if I let it dry completely, it'll be real shiny and glossy, and when I put the seam sealer all up in this, it's just not gonna stick to it very well. I've had that happen before, where down the road, you know, I let it get dry and put the seam sealer on there, and it just chunked right off after a couple months. I guess, you know, you could go back through and, you know, scuff sand the PR15, which would be great on a flat panel, but I got all kinds of garbage up in here that I need to get it jammed in there. And so I don't want to try and sand any of this. So I'm going to do it the right way. And once it starts to tack up in about, you know, maybe an hour, 2 hours, I will go ahead and hit it with some spray paint. And then maybe like 30, 40 minutes later, I'm gonna go for it with the seam sealer. So let's see what we got here. I did put it away with some saran wrap, but oh yeah, we got a can full of hardness here. So what can we do about that? Well, let's see if we can break through it. Maybe not. I have to pause this and see if I can get a bigger implement to take some of this chunk off the top. I think there's definitely liquid underneath of there, and it's drying out because I didn't close it properly. I guess some air got in there, and no bueno. And expensive, wow, but it works. So let me see if I can get this a little bit liquefied, and I'll be right back. All right, I want to show you how good this stuff is. So let's see if I can set this camera to where you can see what I'm doing here. All right, it's hardened up in there, you can see, but don't know if you can hear about it. There's liquid under there, probably a good inch of this stuff. I want you to see how tough this crap is, right? So sharp chisel, right? I'm really just barely scratching it right there. What's probably gonna happen is it'll find a weak spot while I hammer on it, and it's gonna come squirting out. So, you know what I think I'm gonna do is get a drill bit and drill through it, and then pour it into another container of some sort. I got to get this stuff out of here, because man, like I said, this stuff's too expensive. I'm not going to throw this can away just because it sealed me out. I'll figure it out, and then I'll probably end up throwing the can away. And yet there'll probably be little bits of debris in the stuff when I paint it on, but just don't care. All right, well, fast forward several hours, and I have gotten everything cleaned, painted, got some you know, whatever, I guess primer over top of the PR15. It got, you know, kind of tacky, and that's about the perfect time to hit it with some primer. And now it's time to go ahead and put the seam sealer and goob it all up in there, and let's get that done and just, you know, be done with that, ready to go tomorrow. Put the windshield in, hopefully, if everything goes properly. And I am probably not gonna do a good job of the seam sealer. I usually make a huge mess, but again, acetone is your friend. Wipe it all up, and I'm just gonna cram it up in there as much as possible. So let's see how this goes. All right, well, unfortunately, I'm not really smart, and I chose black seam sealer. And while that may look good, the problem is I'm not going to be able to see where I've got it all because everything's already black. So, you know what? I'm just going to throw it all up in there and see what happens. So, let's see how this goes. Probably not well. Ooh, I cut my tip a little too big. Oop, here we go. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Oh, boy. Yeah. Oh, my ladder's sliding out on me. Alright. Should have done white. Alright, that went there, but that's just the seam. That's not the rusty top of it. Alright. Yeah, I'm gonna get this everywhere. Mostly on me though, which is good. Yep, I am a skilled professional. Not even close. I have no idea what I'm doing. So, nothing that some lacquer thinner won't take off. When I go to get a shower tonight, just keep a bottle of lacquer thinner in the shower with me. So we can fill these holes up here. Oh, that's a lot. Way too much. I can't see anything. I'm so glad I did this in black. Just freshly painted that. Now it's got this stuff all over it. Ooh, that looks pretty good. Get another paper towel. Does anybody like caulking and doing this kind of thing? I really wonder. Is it fun? I don't know. I don't think so. Boy, I got it everywhere on me. I just can't really see if I'm getting it up in there. Let's get a flashlight on this situation. Even though it's the broad daylight. Yeah. Definitely have missed some spots. Let's go again. Well, let's try it that way. Wow, this stuff is like tar. I can tell you one thing. If anybody ever goes to take this trim off, they're in for a surprise. It's got POR 15 and now 6 gallons of sealer on it at the bottom. I think I might have got it. Let's see. Oh. That's looking pretty good. I need to keep it somewhat off of this lip here so I have a nice smooth lip for. Let's do this. There we go. Open the glove box so I don't continue to destroy it even more. Let's see. Huh. I think I got it on this side. Boy, it sure looks like it. All right, well, let's go to the other side. Whoop! I got a little tiny ladder over here. We'll see how this works out. Oh, golly. All right. Jeez. I should have got white or beige or something. This side's a little easier because it doesn't have all the messed up rust holes all through it. Yeah, that's sealed, baby. All right. I like it. Cool. Start working some of these other areas. All right, well, that mess has been made, so I guess the only thing left now is let it cure for 45 minutes or so. I don't know. and then hit it with some Frankenstein green in the places that I won't be able to access once the windshield goes back in. I guess, you know, I'm messing with the dash a little bit to try and fill in those holes that I think might have been a mouse, but actually I think it was just Mr. Sun. I think it just got cooked and it hasn't been in the sun enough. It's been back under the lean-to. It's been probably several years out of the sun, and I guess the sun got down into that cheap plastic from 1978 when they weren't good at making that kind of thing. And yeah, so I'm doing an experiment, and it doesn't need to look good. I just need it to not have a hole and continue making holes. So I'll show you that tomorrow right before the windshield goes in. Hopefully everything goes smooth. All this will cure and dry overnight. Get some green paint in the right places, like up in the corners here. And tomorrow, I don't know, 10, 11 o'clock, got to get the sun out there, get everything nice and warm, the gaskets and yada yada, the butyl. And I'll try and shove this thing in here, and it'll probably be a frustrating mess, but you know what? It beats paying somebody to do this, because wow, that's expensive. They consider this a specialty. A gasketed windshield is now a specialty, and you got to take the vehicle to their shop. They won't come and do it, and they pretty much don't train people to do this anymore. So, you know, why not give it a shot yourself? And worst you can do is screw it up, I guess, which could get kind of pricey. So maybe you don't want to do that. I don't know. Up to you. I'm giving it a go, because I've done it once before with the help from a friend. This time I'm going to go solo. So we'll see it happen tomorrow morning. Good morning. New day. And it's time to get the windshield started. Waiting on Killian to get back from the store with his mom, and then we're going to start jamming this thing in here. So I'm going to do my best to try and record it. Figure before I get started with that, maybe just a quick recap of all the things that I took care of. So, quick tour. Got this all painted up, cleaned up really good. Got the seam sealer all up inside of everywhere, and that came out real nice. Really happy with that. There's a couple of small where the pinch welds didn't quite meet, like in this area. I'll go ahead and dab a whole bunch of butyl on that before we slide it on. The windshield gasket. Got my door jamb painted. Real happy with that. That came out nice. Got some seam sealer up in this corner here. Hard to see with the lighting. You know, finally got this all painted and clean, so now I can put those new door seals on it. And looking forward to the door actually shutting properly. I did my best I could with trying to get these holes in the the dash. It's still tacky. I painted it obviously black. You know, really terrible. It's not a good repair at all. It's not a hole anymore, but this plastic is just trash. So I don't know. It's good enough for what I do. The thing is, this truck she's rough anyway, so it's kind of nice to have something just good enough. You know, maybe throw a little paint on something, whatever, and call it good. I love it about an old vehicle like this, that, you know, it's not a trailer queen or a show queen or anything like that. It's just a good, useful truck. So, all right, well, we'll get this windshield started here momentarily. Well, so here's how it all went down. I started to put the windshield in and ran into a couple of issues. Primarily the windshield seal, all wrapped up in the bag. It was kind of twisted around. It did not want to go around that windshield. And the way I'd learned to do it is to a little seam sealer, tiny bit. I got way too much in there, and then I started running into big time problems trying to get it around the windshield. Just kept popping off. Tried taping it on there, popping off. It was really hot, and it made a mess. Before you know it, I'm not touching the camera because I got butyl all over. Not seam sealer. I said seam sealer. Butyl all over my gloves, and I can't touch anything. The windshield's covered in it, and it was super hot. That stuff was running everywhere. Just a total mess. And so I didn't record any of that. Got a little bit frustrated with it, so I stopped before something went really dramatically wrong. So then let it set for a day, came out here, acetone, cleaned up as much of the butyl as I could, started messing with it again, got the gasket around the windshield, and it stuck pretty good. I was, happy with that. And then I waited, and my buddy came over the next weekend. So fast forward, he got over here and we just got after it. I never set up a camera or anything, didn't even think about it. And we fought that windshield for a while. It did not want to go in, did not go in as easily as the first time I'd done it with the 85 Ram Charger that I have. That one went in like butter. I went online afterwards, and I think it's Precision Parts. They did a video, a really, really high quality video of how to put the windshield in. Highly recommend going to that video link. And they do it a lot different than I was told how to do it, or how I learned how to do it. So they put the gasket into the vehicle, then peel it back and slowly put butyl in there, push it back on, and all around the seam, which I did a similar thing, but the gasket was already on the windshield. We had the butyl in that channel, put it in there, and then just, went around the whole thing. We roped it in at the top. I'd always heard about the roping method. It worked pretty good right up until we couldn't pull it anymore. Then I had to get up there with the little windshield tool. It's like a little tiny plastic pry bar, won't break anything. And we fought. You really got to have that thing centered perfectly. So got it in eventually, and whew, that was a workout. Successful, didn't video it. I apologize for that. So what I will do, though, as promised, I said I would give you the rundown on Frank and do a video on that. So if it's sunny, like maybe this weekend, I'll go outside where Frank's now sitting and do a quick video, like walk through why is it Frankenstein. It's not because it's green, and kind of just talk about how I got the truck, how long I've had it, what all it's been through, what all I've been through with that truck. That thing has been a chore, a labor of love, if you will. And I really do like that truck, and it's rough, and I love it that way. It looks kind of good from about 150 feet away. Get up close to it, you're like, oh, cutting corners, you betcha. So anyhow, that's going to do it for the video, and I hope you enjoyed it. Please like and subscribe, leave a comment down below, say hey, whatever, and we'll talk to you soon. Thanks.